starting to stream. Will it pick it up? This is the question. Yes. Right, so apparently I'm now streaming on the YouTubes. So I'm playing a bit of my game. Just running around building some random things in the game. And trying to stream it at the same time to see if I can actually keep my talking going while I do things, because that's something I'm going to be really struggling with. So I'm going to try and figure out how I can watch. Yes, watch myself while I do this. And see if I can see if anyone's watching or anything like that. Wait, I've got chat on my other computer, so let's see if that works. Oops, let's go delete that. There we go. So you can't hear me on that one now. That will ruin it. Right. So yes, let me start again. That's the crap I was talking about. So I've got my server buddy down there. We just killed the devil that's trying to attack him. That'll shut him up. That's me on the server. That's my server player. We just kill him as well. Oh, the dead guy. And he should drop back in a minute. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is in the shadow. Down here. His face. Oh, he's stuck. Oops. Okay. Yes, sometimes you can get stuck when you're respawning because you spawn too high up in the air, and it's casting a little ray trace down to try and find the ground beneath you and be like, yep, you can spawn here now because it's ground. As is the case with this particular server character, it doesn't think there's any ground beneath him. So he's just stuck in the air. That's something I've definitely got to fix at some point. Right, okay, so he's floating up in the air. He's safe anyway. The devil's can't attack him now. He's fine. He doesn't mind. So let's have a dig around. These blocks are really handy. The mossy stone ore, because with that you can build the kind of tiles that you get in the dungeons below, and they're quite cool because they're like kind of castle-y kind of thing, castle-y dungeon-y tiles. And you can make some nice big structures with those. So I'll pick up a few of those and just build some and show you what I mean. It's actually streaming. I think it might be struggling. I don't know what's going on. My stream says it's way on. Stop watching myself and just see how that goes, because it might actually be killing it. I'm not able to upload and download it at the same time or something. I do not know. But okay, I'll just chat to myself. So I can't see the chat at the moment. I don't know how I can see the chat without having YouTube open, which possibly kills it, I don't know. In fact, I'll try and open it on my computer here and just see if I can see it. And then I'll know if I can actually talk to people if they do comment in the chat. Right, my channel says I am live, but is it showing? I'll know if I can actually talk to people if they do comment. I appear to be alive. I'll just put that in Quora so I can see some of the chat. What's happening? So I'm just doing some rearranging of my windows here so I can see things. I like to be able to see my own face while I'm streaming, just to see if I'm doing anything stupid. My talking might be a bit quiet. I've only got a crappy mic that's built into the webcam. Basically, it's a nice visual webcam, but the microphone is kind of naff. That's something you need to sort out. You need to get myself a better one, an actual standalone microphone or something, so I can actually do this nicely and feel like I'm talking a bit more naturally. But this will do for now. unless people tell me otherwise. Right, I'm gonna start digging a hole because I like digging holes into the ground and seeing what's under there. Because at the moment the game is generating like just an enormous dungeon on the bottom levels of the world. So it's wherever you dig down, you're likely to find some sort of rooms have been generated. And there's like chasms that get generated as well. So you can dig down and you can find all this stuff. And later on, I'll probably make the dungeons rarer, so they're not everywhere. But for now, it's quite nice to just be able to test what they look like and to be able to dig down there and find things. But it would maybe ruin the impact if they stayed everywhere, because you kind of want to be able to dig down and have a chance of finding things, but not definitely just find everything. What is it? There's a bit of a cave into the side of the rock here. Right. Keep on digging. So the different rock types, they obviously take different amounts of time to dig away. The stone, the sort of raw stone, is quite tough to dig through. But you can see actually the dungeon there. There we go. So that's what we're going to head down to. That stuff down there. And that's something else I need to fix, because you shouldn't really be able to see through the world like that. Kind of ruins it. Need to do something with the camera collision, like I have a little encapsulated sphere or something that stops it going into the wall. But that's on my to-do list to sort out anyway. So right. So you shouldn't have too far to dig before we get to the dungeon and see what it's like down there. Lift music. Probably should have done something more interesting than just digging a hole straight down, but never mind. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a cavern we've come into here. So it's like, yeah, a certain level down, they start to be generating these big open caverns, and it's kind of weird because you can see through to the skybox, but that's just because it's not generating enough of the chunks off in the distance to kind of fill in those holes. So you kind of just start to see one of those holes. And you can see you'll see the daylight when it's day. Yeah, there you go. The daylight comes through the hole, through the gap as well. Kind of works because it allows you to see how it makes it feel quite big. But really, it should have generated those chunks further off in the distance so that you can just see solid rock and stuff. Actually, I'm going to run over there because, yeah, there's something there. I think that's part of one of the dungeons that's been generated at the bottom. So we'll just go and break in. Oh yes, this is another thing. At the moment, there's lots of lights that get generated in the dungeons. So that's something that's kind of handy at the moment, because if you want light blocks, you can just come down here and steal a bunch of them, go back up to the surface and use them in your own constructions. But yes, this is a bit of the randomly generated dungeon. Now, to generate this stuff, I've actually got like template chunks with stairs, doors, solid walls, and all this sort of thing. And it basically, as it's plotting through, it just finds combinations that fit the particular wall that's just been generated. So it kind of steps out in this pattern and generates a random dungeon from all the different combinations of tiles that I made. And actually, to make those, I have to go into I have to play the game and make these chunks. I think it was maybe like 8x8 chunks of dungeon segments. So I've got this realm which I use when I need to add more chunks to go to this realm. It's got them all built, so I can just basically export them from that and then use them in the generation. It's quite a good way. It has good results. So I'll just run around a little bit and show you some of it. So I got different floors and stuff as well, so that you can change the levels and go down a bit and up a bit. It's actually a really random gen of the stuff. Sometimes it comes out a little bit more boring than this, but there's some pretty random shapes that come out of it. Yeah, it's quite a big open bit as well. Yes, it's definitely a handy place to come down and steal some of the blocks, because so you don't have to make them yourself. You can just gather them down here, take them back up to the surface, and build yourself a castle around them. It is especially handy for the light blocks, because well, I'm going to show you. This is on the bottom floor of the world. So if I break this one, you'll be able to see to the outside. Hello outside. I lost the block. It's gone. If I wanted to quick way up to the surface at the moment, I'll just drop down that hole and it will respawn me at the top. But it's kind of cheating, but oh well. Wait, my block. So in my inventory, I've got that mossy stone light tile, and this is usually to make these you need some sunstone, and that can be found on the surface, but it's quite rare to find. And you need a few of them to make the light blocks, but you do get a few of the light blocks when you make them. So although rare, once you've got some, it's quite handy. You can make a bunch of the light blocks to use. But at the moment, because the dungeons are everywhere, it's kind of the easiest way is just to come down here, grab a few of them, and head back up. I'm going to grab a few because I'm going to use them to make a small lighthouse, basically, just to indicate where I am in the world, so that when I do come back up to the surface, I can be like, ah, there I am. Just have a big light pillar. So I'm going to grab about 4 or 5 of these, and then I'll head back up. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, the dungeons, they're generated quite nicely. There's lots of variety, but what they do need is stuff in them to make them more exciting. So this will be like creature spawns will be down here, especially rare spawns. There might be specific rooms of the dungeon that have got like a boss creature or something in it, and that boss creature will, when you kill it, will drop some really good loot. Probably something like some armor or maybe a rare recipe, something like that. So that will be one of the objectives of the game will be to seek out those boss creatures and try and get their rare drops. And that should be quite fun. It'll be rare drops, like I said, recipes, which will kind of allow you to craft either different kind of gear, different kind of hairstyles, different bits for your house, new bits. I'll show the house system in a minute. And another system that I'm adding to the game soon is to have kind of flying vehicles that you'll be able to rebuild them and then alter them as well with like installations that get put on them. So you might have like turret points or like a place to store things on your airship, so you'll be able to like you have your airship up in the sky and be floating around with it. And if you've got too much stuff to carry, you can go back up to your airship, put it all on that. And then you can kind of head home with more loot, basically. And that will maybe be more important later on when I've got maybe different biomes. So you might want to go to a different biome and basically just grab loads of a specific type of wood or something like that, and then come back with that wood to your main house that you're building. Just get another couple of these light blocks and then head up. Or head down. I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to fall through the world. Because why not? It's a little bit of lag when the items are spawning. At the moment, I'm running the server on a really old little Mac Mini, so it's probably struggling to actually render the world and do all the stuff that the player is requesting of it. Something that like a dedicated server will have later on won't do very much rendering, so it will be happily to just churn away on the operations that the clients are asking for, the players are asking for rather. Oh, that's weird. Okay. So this item, I can't pick this one up, I don't think. Yeah. And what's happened there is, well, maybe they get it. Yeah, the client-side prediction for the position of the item there failed a little bit, possibly due to lag. But that's something I need to fix as well. I need to make it so that if it detects that its position isn't where the server thinks it is, it should be like, right, I'm just gonna head back to where it should be. At the moment, they're just predicted, so they're just like, I know I was spawned here and I'm going in that direction, so I'll just simulate it myself and I'll be where I will be. Sometimes little bits of lag can make that not accurate, or if a block is removed or something like that on the server, it might think, I can go that way, but on the client it might not know about it yet, so it's like, oh, I've hit a wall that the server knows about and I don't, or vice versa. It's the joys of prediction. It's something that you've got to do it to save memory bandwidth, because otherwise you can be sending far too much information about where everything is in the world. But at the same time, you've got to be ready to correct your prediction so that things don't go completely wrong as they do. Right, so I'm back at the top. Got my six light blocks, so I'm going to build a bit of a tower. To do that, I am going to use mud because I've got a load of mud and I can get it quicker. Right. A little bit of a delay there. Yeah, I'll need to look into that because the Mac Mini shouldn't be struggling that much to do stuff. Possibly because I've got stuff open on it as well. It's killing its performance a bit. I mean, I'm usually running a server on my main computer. That's an i7, so maybe I've got some more optimization to do there. So, right, now I'm going to go. Where are we going to make the tower? I think this. Screw it. I'll just do it. I'm going to make it a spiral tower, so that I can run up while I make it. Kind of cheating. It will look kind of weird, but it works. And I'm going to use my light blocks intermittently as well. Then hopefully at night time, wherever I am in the world, I'll be able to look over and see this tower and be like, okay, that's where I need to go, that's my home. Or at least nearer to the center. Yeah, basically when you generate a world, and then this world is, I think it was 60 by 60 blocks I've made it. You get spawned right in the middle of it, so around about 30 by 30 chunks, and chunks are like 8 by 8 blocks. So you spawn smack bang in the middle, and you'll respawn in the middle again when you die as well. Later on, I'll probably have the ability to put down your own spawn points. So probably where you have your house, you'll be able to just be like, oh, I also want to respawn here. Maybe a bed or something like that to make it so that you can spawn there. Or maybe it'll just, once you put your plot down, then you're always just allowed to spawn there. And yeah, you spawn there when you die, and then hopefully you don't have to go too far to wherever you or when you died. I don't know at the moment if I'll have anything like a drop items mechanic on death. You got quite a big inventory, you've got all these spaces and you've got all your HUD, so I think it'd be quite unfair to drop everything. Like, yeah, all that stuff you had there, that's gone, sorry. Especially at the moment, there's like a 30-second limit on items that are dropped into the world before they despawn, so that would be quite unfair if you collected a lot of stuff. Although, saying that, maybe later on when you've got like a chest on your a storage chest on your house. Maybe it's kind of like part of the gameplay is you should have stored your stuff away somewhere, and if you didn't, then sucks to be you. You've just lost your bits, and that's the way a lot of games do this. Rust, for example, you die, you lose everything. You know, the person who killed you is going to take the good stuff and leave the crap behind. Right, here is my stupid Tower of Doom. No particular beauty to it, but it will do the job that I'm wanting to do, of being a bit of an indicator in the world. And as you can see, you can build quite high in the game. You can build quite high and you can dig quite deep as well. Right, now I'm going to have a little play with the house plot system. So at the moment, I've got it so you can put down a big square area, and this is your house plot. So I'll just put one of these here. So, and then on this housing plot, I can build more customized house items. And I'll just get a bunch of wood because most of it uses wood and stone to build this stuff. So I'll just grab a bit of stuff and then I'll show you the kind of things you can build. I could cheat and give myself wood, but I've forgotten the mold ID. To give myself items at the moment, I just have to type in give and then the number of the mold and then the quantity. And it's really handy for testing stuff. Won't be in the final game. I'll just get a little bit more wood and then I'll head back. Okay, so I'll be able to show you the crafting system and the building system. These things will be up for change, possibly, but at the moment, this is how they work. Right, so I'm on my builder plot, my housing plot, and I can build. I've got a big list of wooden structure items I can build. And these ones you can't at the moment put them down anywhere in the world. You can only put them on these housing plots. However, I am thinking about changing that so that you can put them anywhere in the world. Maybe in the back end of the game, it's actually just making like a dynamic housing plot wherever you put them. So you don't have the rigidity of it has to be on a specific housing plot. You can just put things anywhere in the world. Maybe that's how I'll do it. I need to look into it and see if it's feasible. Because one downside would be that it could have a high memory overhead because it would possibly be stored as an array, and for the world as a whole, that could be quite a large array. That's one of the biggest memory overheads of the game is actually, or at least on the server, is storing the generated world data. But I've optimized that recently, and it's within a reasonable limit as far as I'm concerned. Yes, so I'll build a doorway and a few corners and walls and show you how it works. Right, so yeah, once you've got your items on, you put them on your bar. You can use them here as well, but it's quite handy to be able to use the number keys to just use them. When you're using an item, you can't move it around. It's locked to that position. Oops, I need to put that there. Let's take that away. Right, yeah. So yeah, you can just click on them, and then you can use the down here. You've got the the E and Q keys to actually. You can rotate them, and you can zoom it further away from you if you're trying to put something and you're a little bit far away from where you're trying to put it. At the moment, we just want to rotate. I'll just go to near the corners and put these down. Again, you can just click on the item again to put it down, or you can use the number key if it's on the bar. I'll just put them on the bar. I find it quite handy to just press a number key to use it. I'll make this a pretty small house for now, I think. That's how you want it. I sometimes get caught in my own system of just making an enormous house, and then I'm like, well, finish that. Now what do I do? But maybe if you're enjoying your own game, maybe that's a good thing. I've got to make it for someone, why not? Right. Yeah, I'll put doors on 2 sides there. I won't put them on 4 sides because I think that's not maybe a bit silly. I'll just get rid of those items then. Right, I think we want some windows and some just solid walls as well to fill in the gaps. And yeah, I should have to build some roofing. Right, there we go. At the moment as well, you don't have options of the colour of the pieces you're building, but I'm either going to make it so you build them and they're kind of uncoloured and then you can kind of dye them, or I'll have a bigger list. It'll just be like you make a green window or a red window or a blue window. But I think the dyeing system would be more dynamic because you can have I can have loads of colours and I don't fill up the crafting list with what are essentially the same item. It would just be you'd create some like some red dye or something, and then you'd maybe use that on the item in the world, and it would change the colour. There's some issues with that. One of the things that it would do is it would mean those particular items weren't able to batch with other items because they'd have like this a dynamic material on them, and that would stop them from batching together. And the reason batching is important is it speeds up the render, makes it run faster. But it's not really an issue with this game. It's quite a low poly anyway, so it's probably fine. But something to think about. And then I'll just put some roof on here. At least a bit of a roof. Why not do the whole roof? It's quite easy to get used to the building system. I might look into making it easier to rotate them. I'm not entirely sure how I do that. If I would have some sort of auto detection of what it expects you to where it expects you to put the thing. Like for example, if I'm putting next to this corner, it would automatically orient it to fit that one. There's something to think about that I might do, but it's not difficult to just have the rotation key, and you get used to it quite quickly. But yeah, there's the house plot system, so you can make your own house, and then later on there'll be a lot more decor items that you can put around it as well. I think at the moment I've got fences and what is on my list? Yeah, in furnishings, so you make lampposts if you've got some of that sunstone ore that I was talking about before. And where are the fences? It's possible I haven't made a recipe for the fences. That's a bit silly. Okay, that's one for me to do. You can build fences as well, and then yeah, the fences you can put them around the edge of your plot wherever you want. It's just a little bit of visual decoration, and I plan on doing a lot more of that sort of thing. Having lanterns you can hang on the walls, maybe paintings, and other furniture that you can put in your house, things like chairs and wardrobes if you want those. And some of these things might have some functionality as well, like the wardrobe, you might be able to go up to it and change your appearance of your character. And again, the storage chest, obviously that'll be for storing things in. And then there'll also be crafting benches, and this will be specific ones for creating more complex items. And this could be player gear. For example, you might need some sort of forge to make armor for your player, or to upgrade your armor or something like that. That'll all be fun to do later on. I do have the system for the crafting benches in place. I've actually disabled it at the moment because for a while you needed to craft everything, all of the items, next to a crafting bench. You use the crafting bench and it would probably be a crafting window. But for a lot of things, it just Wasn't that fun? Yeah, it was kind of nice to be able to build some stuff around just wherever you go, rather than having to constrain. Yeah, I need to have my crafting bench here so that then I run back and forth to it. It was just a bit kind of monotonous, whereas just letting them just build anywhere is a lot more fun. But for specific um, game mechanics, like for rare item crafting and stuff, maybe it's going to be a prestigious thing to have on your house. Maybe you've killed one of these rare bosses and it drops the recipe for a crafting table that allows you to build enchanted gear or something like that. So maybe you become the guy on your server who can make all this enchanted gear for all your friends, and that'd be quite cool. So there's something, the system's in place for it. It's just really a matter of me using it and actually making those crafting tables and those recipes that and the items that they might make. So yeah, that's a basic rundown of my game at the moment. I'm just doing a quick stream tonight just to test streaming and to get myself talking to the camera a bit more, because it's something I'm not very good at all, but hopefully I can get better at it. Thanks if you watch this randomly, but bye.